Multiple reports came in over the weekend that Becky Lynch has been working out at the Performance Center and that she was backstage Friday at Smackdown and Sunday at Hell in a Cell. We haven't seen the man since May 11, 2020, when she relinquished the Raw Championship on Monday Night Raw to become the Mom. I'm Ryan Joy, and I run MinutesToBellTime.com, a website database tracking pro wrestling from around the world. On today's show, we're talking about Becky Lynch. She's been gone more than a year now. How does she fit in? Does she land on Raw or SmackDown? And just how imminent is that return? We also have headlines from the weekend. Al Carl is in the house, and this is the Daily Wrestling News Show for June 21, 2021, where we sort through all the bullshit in wrestling news to find you the truth. Al Carl, welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome. I'm back. I'm sorry, I giggle every time you emphasize the bullshit. Yeah, I don't know. It's a chuckle out of me. I don't know why, but yeah, we're back in town. I'm actually back home for a couple of days after defending New York. Great weekend. Celebrated my first Father's Day yesterday as a stepfather. The kids, actually, I'll just show you real quick. My stepson got me. I got a Skeletor and Panther. And for my birthday this last year, you got me He-Man and Battle Cat. So I'm gonna go play a little He-Man once the show is over. So, but he's here today. Yeah. So my stepson's done with school. He's here. My wife's working from home today. Brian, this is the first show I'm actually wearing pants.
Oh no!
For a very long time. I don't know if you've noticed. I've been going.
I don't know how that means. I don't know how the show was going to go. We've never had a show where you were wearing pants before.
I know, right? So let's just hope this goes well. Fingers crossed.
All right, so here is the news of the day. I mean, I've already got comments rolling in, but the news of the day is Becky Lynch has been spotted training at the Performance Center. People are saying that she is jacked. She looks good and ready to go. She was backstage at SmackDown, backstage at Hell in a Cell. Becky Lynch, a Royal Rumble winner, a 3-time SmackDown champion, a 1-time Raw champion, and she was kind of lighting the world on fire before she had to take her departure for motherhood. And now it looks like she might be back. And BJ Pavanka says he sees we're starting with the bad news. BJ, of course, not a Becky Lynch fan.
And to each their own. I like Beckers. Like I said, my mother's, I said every time I talk to Gary on the Essential Wrestling podcast, I make it known my mother's 100% Irish. So Becky's on my thumbs up list. I'm a Becky fan. So we're looking forward to it. It's been over a year. I believe they had Rue. I believe his maiden name Rue Rollins, right? So I believe Rue was born probably somewhere around Christmas time, right? Christmas Rumble era, because that was the discussion then. Like, oh my God, she just spat out the kid. Will she be in the Rumble? Like no. To each their own. Maybe she could have been, but as my wife has told me, it takes more than a week to recover from a pregnancy. Apparently, I wouldn't know. But yeah, good. If she's training, I know she's got that work ethic, right? If she doesn't come back jacked, it's going to be more of a surprise than if she does.
Yeah, that'll be the news story for sure. She's usually very fit. So I guess the question is, there's a lot of stuff that's about to happen, right? First and foremost, WWE's going back on the road, as they tell us every opportunity they can.
Yes.
They have Money in the Bank. That's coming up. It's the first pay-per-view outside the Thunderdome, aside from WrestleMania, they've had in a long time. Is she going to be on Raw? That's where she was when she left. Or does she join SmackDown because that's where Seth Rollins is?
Mm-hmm.
And then is this just, hey, she's training for a return 6 months from now? Any of these.
Yeah. Okay, we'll backtrack here for a second. All right, she was at SmackDown and she was at Hell in a Cell. Okay, yeah, she was there for Seth. I don't think we were looking any deeper into it than that. Mm-hmm. So let's just put that just over there. That she was
or meetings or whatever, anything. Yep.
Yeah, so she was there to support her husband, and we'll just leave that at that. Where does she land? I think for now, you read the reports that I guess USA Network and Raw were upset that the Hell in the Cell was on SmackDown and they moved it for. I think she stays on Raw. And honestly, when we're literally a month and a half probably away from the draft, I don't think this is a decision that they really need to put into concrete right now. So if you just put her onto Raw, get her going, maybe against like Charlotte or somebody. There's bigger names on Raw. I know SmackDown needs the help. That's why I think that maybe might be the answer where some people are like, oh, SmackDown needs help. Well, everything's getting reshuffled in 2 months anyway, so it's kind of irrelevant where she falls right now because everything is going to get evened out, hopefully, come after SummerSlam. So I put her on Raw. I get the ratings up for that show and let her have a nice little feud. Maybe put her in the Money in the Bank match or put her in something. Get her something maybe against Charlotte or against Asuka or against Rhea for SummerSlam, and then you shuffle her into the mix.
Yeah, and BJ has a prediction. He says she's absolutely winning Money in the Bank and then beating Charlotte 10 seconds after Charlotte beats Rhea. So that's it's a possibility that they have had the Money in the Bank winner cash in on the female side, cash in on the same night that they win it. So that's a possibility.
Yes. Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, I mean, it could something like that could happen.
It potentially, but do you give it back to her just because she's Becky? I don't know. I don't see her winning Money in the Bank. Like I said, we're making the assumption that qualifying usually starts the show after the pay-per-view. There's 4 weeks till Money in the Bank. I'm going to assume that there's qualifiers tonight, whether it be in the men's or the women's side. I don't even think I think she'll have a match, maybe against somebody. Maybe she gets a title shot right away because she had to relinquish. Okay, you gave it up, you never lost it, so we're gonna give you the shot right away. But I don't think she's gonna win the belt up until just same as Charlotte. Charlotte just got back too. She's not, she's getting close, but she's not winning it.
Right. Yeah, so I think she'll have a big SummerSlam match. I don't know when the return comes. I don't know if the return is in a qualifying Money in the Bank match, if it's a Raw that they advertise her, but I do believe she'll be advertised. I don't think we'll be surprised when she walks out because I think she does move the needle for ratings a little bit, and she might signify a shift for the company. We're going back on the road. All these things are changing. Becky Lynch, who you remember before the pandemic, she is here now. So wrestling fans that stopped watching, please come back.
Yeah, and you know what? It could be a chance. Like I said, maybe she's not out tonight. I mean, there's definitely. I think you hit the nail on the head in pre-production. They are going to announce when she's coming back. They don't want this to be a surprise. They want the eyes on the TV. Now, do you wait until after Money in the Bank? I know the first live attended crowd will be the SmackDown before Money in the Bank. So do you wait till the Raw after? She might not even be involved in Money in the Bank, and then just get her feud going into SummerSlam and then shuffle her in.
There's a little bit of poetic justice that would be for her to come back the Raw after Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That was her last Raw where she relinquished the title. Yep. She's going to walk back in. I don't care what match she goes into first, but she's going to come back in. She's going to cut a promo and say, I want the title. Like, that's going to be what she says.
Yeah,
I doubt she's going to walk in and say, you know what, I've been gone for 14 months. Let me wrestle 4 or 5 people, and then maybe I'll look at the title. That's not what Becky Lynch is going to do. She's going to come back and say, I am the man. I left. I'm back now. I'm sorry. I'm taking my belt back. And then she may get interrupted and have to deal with somebody, but that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, you remember it was 14 months ago. She brought out the Money in the Bank briefcase, and the belt was in it. So I'm assuming when she does come back, she's going to have a Money in the Bank briefcase, but the baby's going to be in it.
I hope that doesn't happen now.
Gotta poke some holes in the suitcase so the baby can breathe. That'll be the only thing.
So we were just talking about the draft and Becky Lynch's possibility of, coming out in, maybe she'll come out on Raw and then get drafted to SmackDown, or come out on SmackDown and then get drafted to Raw. All that's up in the air. It could be whatever belt she's holding when they do the draft. It all depends. There's a lot of noise about the draft too, and how things could shake up. And we'll probably get into that some more after the break. But any other thoughts on Becky Lynch, Al?
Yeah, well, I think she's gonna get drafted high. She's a former number 1 overall pick, not this past draft, but the one before. She was one of the days number 1 overall picked, and I hope she eventually lands with Bayley. I don't think we've seen a feud with Becky Lynch and Bayley in a very long time, probably since the NXT days. So I think, as far as the horsewomen, go the feud, Charlotte had her feud with Sasha, the legendary feud with Sasha and Becky. And I think the only combination left is Becky and Bayley. And with the current situation, like this new Bayley that Becky hasn't seen yet, it's going to be a lot of fun. Ding dong, hello, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny that when you think of Becky Lynch, I think you typically think of the Raw brand. because that's where I think she was the most formidable. But like I mentioned, she's a 3-time SmackDown champion. She's the inaugural SmackDown champion. She had a historically long Raw title reign, and I think that's why people think of that.
Yes.
But to your point, Bayley has the historically long SmackDown run. So put them together. I think you're right. And we certainly haven't seen Becky and this version of Bayley.
No, we haven't. Ding dong. Yeah. So, and I said way back when, you do, because of her recent title run, synonymous with Raw, but the original brand extension draft, Charlotte Flair was the first woman drafted. I think it was like 3rd overall. Then Sasha was shortly after. Becky was the first ever female SmackDown draftee. Yeah. So now to go with the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion that she won, I believe it was like a fatal 5-way or something like that with a bleep show of other women. So it was but she's got history, definitely history on both shows. But the man is synonymous with Raw. I'll give it. Yeah, that was that.
Yes. BJ chimes in. Do we need Bayley to put over another horsewoman? I don't think it's a given that Becky beats Bayley. Certainly, right now we're looking at Cesaro one match at WrestleMania. Rollins won a match last night, and they're going to go to a third. To me, I would see this being a series of matches. I think it would be short-sighted on their part to do a one match and done.
Yeah, and it's Bayley's shoe. Yeah, I would see, maybe even wait till after. I don't know. Maybe you put Becky on SmackDown and just get this to go to SummerSlam, and then have them just get drafted on the same show to go after. I think that if anyone, when Becky comes back, I think Bayley might just interrupt her. Like, excuse me, like I ran this while you were gone. They played the story before. I ran this while you were gone. Why are you back? We don't need you. Who cares? Ding dong, hello, who cares? It doesn't matter. So,
and there's a lot of truth in that argument.
Start this right away.
Yeah, a lot of truth in that argument too. Bayley has certainly blown up since Becky's been gone. So
and that Hell in a Cell, and again, like it's still not even just the title reign. That Hell in a Cell she had with Bianca she was awesome in that. She did that sunset flip into the cell with it. That was incredible. Bayley just continues to work hard and put on gems.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to put a pin in this discussion. We'll come back to it if we want a little bit later, but that is the main story. That Becky Lynch her return appears to be imminent. We will see. We have a whole bunch more headlines to get into right after the commercial break. And let's get there.
You're going to see scraps?
Scraps.
Yeah.
If you love the Daily Wrestling News Show, then I want to tell you how you can support us. First, check out bodyslamclothes.com. You can get a variety of shirts for just $20, and all of them come in the super soft style, and the price you see includes all sizes and shipping. Get 10% off 2 or more shirts with the promo code SHIRTS10. Go to bodyslamclothes.com right now to check it out. And join Joey Jarzanka, Ian Schreier, and Rob DeLuca on Friday nights for the Primetime Rundown. They take you through the world of sports. The show kicks off at 6 p.m. on the Eastern Observer. And each Tuesday, Al Carl hosts the Essential Wrestling Podcast alongside John Smith, myself, John Nicani, and Garen Mahaffey. It's another week of updates and highlights in the world of wrestling. Hear our analysis on who we think is going to win the week's matches. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. on the Eastern Observer. And Pro Wrestling Pick'em. It's a place where you can join or host a Pick'em League to test your predictive skills in the world of pro wrestling. Create an account and join a league now at ProWrestlingPick'em.com so you can play against your friends or play against the universe. And the Body Slam Brigade newsletter, currently going out to over 4,200 people each Friday. It consolidates all the top stories in professional wrestling into a quick-to-read email written by me for you for free. Sign up now at BodyslamBrigade.com. And of course, this show, the Daily Wrestling News Show. We're here every day, Monday through Thursday, and occasionally on Friday. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, or watch us live on Facebook and YouTube at 10 a.m. This is the Daily Wrestling News Show, and we thank you for your support. And we're back.
Hello. Hi, I'm Ryan Joy.
Oh, let me reverse this. And we're back.
I feel more like myself now. Hey, Ryan, quick programming note. I know you haven't changed your commercial. The Primetime Rundown is on tonight. From now till August, the Primetime Rundown on these are Monday nights at 7 o'clock. Joey and his posse will be talking some Islanders hockey probably. They're going on a run right now. So Monday, 7 o'clock, Primetime Rundown. Tune in tonight before Raw.
There you go. And also, so I had 2 programming notes. That was one of them. Thank you. The second one is the Body Slam Brigade newsletter. I've got to re-record all these commercials. That thing's up over 4,400 subscribers now, and it was a completely different look and feel to the newsletter this past week. So, hope everybody enjoys that. That's how I think it's going to be going forward. So
nice, 4,400. Look at you.
I know, and growing and growing.
That's it.
So, Hell in a Cell last night. All champions retained, Al.
Yes.
Roman Reigns, he retained on Friday with a last-minute programming change. They moved what people thought might have been the main event of Hell in a Cell to Friday Night SmackDown. So.
Yeah, I don't know if this is knee-jerk or whatever. I don't know. Maybe they could have done the 3 cell matches if they just wanted to move it just so they could put Bayley and Bianca in the cell. I think they could have gotten away with 3. Maybe they just wanted to add both WrestleMania rematches, Kevin and Sammy, along with Seth, because there was 3 SmackDown matches, 3 Raw matches. So, they could have. No, there was 4 SmackDown matches.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah, wow.
3.
No, that was 3. It was 3 and 3. So they could have done it. Who knows what they were thinking? But yeah, they didn't know if it was a ratings boost. Like, who knows? But the thing is, it was the right decision in the end, because you know what? We all knew Roman was going to win. Ray was going to sleep regardless whether he wanted to or not. Even if something happened and Roman Reigns got himself knocked out by accident, Ray would have dragged that dead body over himself to make sure Roman won that match. So it's whatever. It was a nice hype up to get you excited for the weekend, and then we got 2 amazing cell matches that were somewhat up in the air. I know a lot of people were on Bianca, but Bayley showed out, and then few people thought Drew was going to win, so they weren't as obvious of cell matches, I guess is the word. Whereas Roman, again, the conversation is who the hell's going to beat him, and unfortunately, it's not Rey Mysterio. I think everyone was in agreement on that, except for the 3 people that chimed in on your survey.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Drew and Bayley, I don't think many people were picking them, but everybody would have been like, okay, if they won, right? It would have been not really a surprise to anybody. So they were in there, even though people weren't predicting them to win. It wouldn't have been mind blowing if they did. Whereas if Rey Mysterio beat Roman Reigns, that would have been mind blowing.
Yeah, so. that would have been at the pay-per-view. If Ray was scheduled to win that match, that was the main event, and everyone would have went home happy. But yeah, the big story that came out of that, Jimmy looks like he's
in line.
Yeah, it looks like he's in line right now. And Jay was still nowhere to be found. Jay's still upset that his parents were fighting, so he ran off. I can't take it anymore. And Jimmy, he stood there and watched Roman destroy Ray. Go for it. So they reminded us that of last night, during the show. And let's going forward, it looks like they're together, the bloodline or the Unai family. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah. Any other any other major takeaways from Hell in a Cell last night? Because all the champions retained. It definitely seems like Cesaro and Rollins will continue. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I don't know if there's any. And Drew can't challenge for the title as long as Bobby holds it.
Yeah, so we're going to get a new contender. We're going to get a new challenger for Bobby. That's moving forward. I think this, if Drew can't challenge, I think this might eliminate him from the Money in the Bank contention as well. So Drew's got to get a whole new slate going forward. Shayna and Alexa was fun. The mesmerizing. You look at when she had Nia slap Reggie. That was absolutely hysterical. That was fun. So Alexa's doing her thing. But yeah, Cesaro and Rollins. That was. See, if you could have picked 2 rematches from WrestleMania to redo, Sammy and KO fight forever, and then Rollins, they picked the correct 2 for this show. Remember I was talking to Tyler Adele over the weekend. I was like, we're just doing WrestleMania. Like, yeah, but these are the 2 that people want to see again. Like, these are the big 2. There was no title, whatever. It's just feuds. And the opposites won. So now both are 50-50. Well, who knows what the overall series score is between KO and Sammy, but Cesaro and Rollins is now 1-1, so they might have something going forward at Money in the Bank if they're not in the match, which they really shouldn't be. But I think it was overall, I thought it was a great show. And the more and more I thought about it, I'm looking at the card, I'm like, this is going to be really good. Like, this is going to be fun. And I thought everybody showed out.
Yeah, and the more you think about it, the more you realize it could have been called WrestleMania Backlash : Hell in a Cell.
Yes. And then what was the other thing? Oh, there was qualification. And we all picked Charlotte. We all thought it was going to be time, My theory, my thing was, she was originally supposed to win it at Mania over Asuka. Like, they just had Rhea had this little 2-month run. Give it to Charlotte as scheduled and let Rhea chase it. Let her get the chase on that she was probably supposed to have at this point in time. But yeah, they used the thing at the table for the disqualification, whatever the banner is on the table. That caused a disqualification. Normally, that one the referee usually lets that one slide. I guess not last night.
Yeah, that referee is super strict.
Yeah, right. He wanted a nice clean fight with those, and he had it. He had it up to here with those two.
I guess so. All right. So also last night there were apparently some major issues with Peacock at the beginning of the show, not the beginning of the pay-per-view proper, but with the kickoff show. Apparently there were about 15 minutes in the beginning where if you were using a Roku device, you could only see a still image of Shrek.
Yeah, I guess that is, as close as a comparison to Rosenthal as you could get is Shrek. So I guess that's really.
I had personally, I turned on Peacock on Apple TV, and I also had some issues accessing it, but it was like 4 minutes, and I was in fine. So I maybe missed the introduction of the panel, and that was about it. So.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything. I don't have a Roku. I have a Fire Stick, which is it's funny. You have to look online like a bootleg. Like Peacock TV is not really offered on the Fire Stick. You have to find like a weird tweak in it to find it. But it is available for everyone who has Amazon Fire Stick. I tuned in late. I was actually out at my sister's celebrating Father's Day with my dad and my brother-in-law. And get this, my mom for the first time in 40 years. Not only do I get to celebrate Father's Day, we got a Fudgy the Whale cake from Carvel. I've never had a Fudgy the Whale cake. And, we were all excited. We're like, oh, my God. So, yeah, Carvel, Fudgy the Whale. First time in 41 years.
Oh, well, how about that?
Yeah, right? It was a good Father's Day. I got Skeletor. I had Fudgy the Whale. It was a great thing.
All right. I think that covers Money in the Bank. But if we do backtrack a little bit to SmackDown, we were talking about the Roman Reigns and Rey Mysterio match. And that was an important part of SmackDown. But perhaps maybe the most important thing that happened on SmackDown is we no longer have a King Corbin. Now we just have Corbin. I don't know if he goes back to being a Baron after you're a king. Do you go back to being a Baron? Or are you just Corbin? Are you Executive Corbin, Mr. Corbin, Sir Corbin? What happens next?
I thought Baron was his first name. I didn't think it was a title. I thought it was just first name was Baron. Like, he never walked around like, who's the guy in the MCU? Baron Zemo, the guy from Civil War who was just in Falcon and Bucky.
Okay.
I think his first name was Baron. I guess he would just go back to Baron Corbin. Right? That's really.
I don't know.
I don't know either. But now all the rumors going around is a new King of the Ring tournament. We got a Queen of the Ring tournament. There you go. There's something, Becky. They've been discussing this for years. Everyone's been pushing for a Queen of the Ring tournament. But if they do another King of the Ring, does Nakamura, Shinsuke Nakamura, does he not get to have any, King of Strong, does he not get to walk the aisle? Is this it? Or does he get the crown taken away from him and they have a new tournament to decide a new king?
If they have a new tournament, I have a feeling that it's going to be finals Corbin versus Nakamura.
That would make the most sense. Yeah, that would be. I might disagree because everyone's the one person you always talks about it is Xavier Woods. If he's in this, he wants to be King of the Ring in the worst possible way. So I would actually hope that Woods would make the finals just so he can at least say whether he wins or not. He can at least say like, "Oh, I made the King of the Ring tournament finals. I was this close."
What a good shtick that would be for him.
Oh, it'd be incredible.
It's interesting that you bring that up too, because Big E is, he's separate from the New Day now. He's doing a singles run. I don't think they're going to bring him back into that fold. Kofi Kingston, you don't have to watch that closely to realize that MVP is trying to pull Kofi away.
Yeah.
And if that happens, Woods either becomes enhancement talent number 6, or maybe he becomes King of the Ring and, he takes off. But Woods is the odd man out. Yeah.
Yeah, Woods has, he has the least credentials out of all of them, and he doesn't have any singles credentials. At least Big E, when he broke up, he was a former Intercontinental Champion. Yep. Kofi, forget about it. He's got, credentials for years, for days. Woodsy, he's got a trombone. That's it.
Now, so let's just get into this because we got a few extra minutes today, but if MVP were to be able to pull off a New Day split, and he pulled off Kofi Kingston, I think he sends Kofi to SmackDown, and Kofi pursues Roman Reigns as kind of and Paul Heyman more specifically for the revenge on the Brock Lesnar 7-second loss. And so then MVP's got a guy in both places.
Yeah. Now, would that allow MVP to show up both places? Like I said, you don't.
Yeah, I don't know. He's not really a wrestler these days, so I don't see why not.
No, he's not. He got involved last night. He tried to.
So then think, okay, so if your mind's not blown yet.
Yeah, that was a little. Yeah, okay.
Lesnar comes back. Comes back, and everybody wants to see Lesnar Lashley. So maybe Heyman, instead of getting a Lesnar Roman feud like we thought, maybe Heyman's got a guy on both shows too.
Yeah. Yep.
So now you got Heyman and MVP pulling all the with all the puppet strings.
Yeah. That's you want to say the Paul Heyman with Brock and Roman. That's kind of a gimme. Put Heyman in Shark Cage or whatever. I don't think Roman's going to want Heyman representing Lesnar because Lesnar's not in the family. I think there's going to be when Brock comes back, there's going to be a discussion by Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, and Paul is going to listen. So for now, Paul is going to listen to Roman, and you've seen the way Roman looks at him. Every guy should have another guy, like Paul Heyman looking at him the way Paul does.
If only we all had that.
Yeah.
So, Al, I told you in pre-production that the former Peyton Royce and the former Billy Kay, formerly known as the Iconics, they have filed a trademark for what is presumably going to be their new tag team name, and it is Inspiration.
Yeah. Double two eyes, though. They got the eyes there. They kept that, though. That's, Inspiration. Good. I'm inspired. Go for it.
BJ chiming in saying he does like the idea of mixing stories on the shows. Not too many, but if you can have a good story or two, it can work. Yeah, they might be able to, cash in on like the great storytelling on SmackDown if they can like bring some of that over to Raw, as well as some of the superstar power from Raw over to SmackDown. Might be good for the whole company.
Yeah, as I said, Survivor Series is coming up, and the whole you would like to see. Now, I don't think anybody would like to see. Who knows what's going to happen if Lesnar actually wins the WWE title back from Bobby Lashley? If that happens, and then you have that collision at Survivor Series with Roman Reigns. If Lesnar stays on Raw or gets drafted to Raw, and then Heyman's in the middle of that, so that's where that gets fun. So I would actually like to see hold off Lesnar and Roman for that with Heyman in the Shark Cage, both of them as champion. Roman, I don't see Roman losing at all. I would say Roman wins that, But
and further, Karrion Kross and Bronson Reed, they both worked dark matches at SmackDown. Now those matches aren't for public consumption. They were purely there to be observed by WWE main roster officials. Of course, they're evaluating the draft and everything now, so who knows what it all means. But those are two guys that it's not really news because we all kind of know that when the draft comes along, those are two guys they're looking at, right? And this is them telling us that they're looking at them. So,
yeah. But Reed, sure, fine. We all see some of us, myself included, had Bronson Reed losing the North American title at Takeover. I just think Kross. I think Kross needs to stay down there for a while. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Interesting about Kross is that at NXT he's a monster.
Yeah.
But if he comes to Raw or SmackDown, he's not the biggest guy anymore.
No.
So that part of his mystique and character is taken away, really.
Yeah, well, you get to see some of the power. You can power around with the big boys. I can see him tossing up. With all due respect to BJ, he could probably throw around Baron Corbin. Like, he could probably hold that. Corbin could probably throw him around, too. But Kross can hold his own with the bigger guys. But, sorry, BJ just chimed in right there. I'm like, my guy's yelling at me already.
Yeah, he loves Kross. The monster build on NXT right now. So
yeah, he's in that conversation with Kenny Omega and Roman Reigns, and who's going to beat this guy? Like, you had no idea. I know the simple answer is okay. He's getting called up, just vacate it. But that's not the way they do things. Anytime someone gets called up, they always lay down.
Right. Well. I'm picking William Regal, for lack of a better choice at the moment, to take the belt off of Karrion Kross.
Yeah, well, they're looking at that. He's getting so uncontrollable. He's going to ship him the title and send him, to deal. Here you go, Adam Pearce is your problem now.
All right, some other notes outside of the WWE world. New Japan Pro Wrestling, they announced Resurgence for August 14, 2021. This will probably be the main topic of conversation with Travis and I on tomorrow's show, unless something magical happens on Raw tonight that is the lead news story. But they're advertising Jon Moxley, Jay White, and Tom Lawler. Those are the three English-speaking champions that they have right now. Jon Moxley, IWGP United States champion, he's actually under contract with AEW, and AEW has to approve these type of appearances in the United States. So interesting. They must have done that. They must be working together. So
I'm sure they trust Moxley. Moxley's not going to put himself in a bad spot. Like John's like, Tony, I'm going to go do this. Okay, have fun.
Yeah. I'm sure everything's above board on that. So
yeah,
the thing that is frustrating about this show is that if you're a New Japan World subscriber, like I am and have been for years, they're not putting the English commentary on New Japan World. You're going to have to buy it on pay-per-view. At least that's what the news story says. So unless they change their mind between now and then, which I hope they do.
If that happens, right, I'm very fluent in Japanese. We'll watch it together. I will translate everything for you.
Good.
We'll make sure it happens for you. You're good.
All right. Good. And then on Impact, we have Ultimate X is coming back for Slammiversary. And it's a title match.
There you go. Everybody was up and on. Oh, my God, a no contest on a pay-per-view. Impact, what do you do? Now, in Impact, we trust. They do everything for a reason. This was a great setup for Ultimate X to get those. Because normally at Slammiversary, there's 5 guys in the main event. That King of the Mountain match that Jeff Jarrett started years ago, where it was 5 guys and it was whatever. It was been a Slammiversary tradition. Now, I'm assuming they're changing it up this year because I'm sure they don't want 5 guys fighting Kenny Omega, which is fine. So what do you have to do? You have to have some kind of a bleep show. Might as well bring back a gem in the Ultimate X match and have some fun with it. P.D. Williams, he's got a pretty decent record in these Ultimate X matches. I remember he won at the first Bound for Glory, and then because there was controversy with it, he won on the Impact following Bound for Glory. So he pulled kind of like a Carmella kind of deal. Carmella won the Money in the Bank. Oh, there was a problem. So she won it again the next time they had it. So P.D. Williams, very Ultimate X tested. Not sure about the other guys. I believe Ace Austin he was in the last one.
He was in the last one.
Yeah, but PD knows what he's doing here.
John Morrison, the person who won the last one.
Yeah.
And WWE backstage agent Pat Buck was in the last one. So it was a few years ago. Not many years ago, but just a couple years ago.
Now he's like Max Buck's and Jeremy Buck's like uncle, right?
Something.
Yeah, something. Whatever happened to those two? Whatever happened to Generation Me?
Yeah. They'll never make it.
No. Those super kicks didn't work. No.
Plus, we also have Moose and Chris Sabin added to the Slammiversary card for next month. So.
Oh, nice. I missed that one.
Now, Ultimate X, you mentioned makes sense with the no contest and all that stuff, but Madman Fulton's not in the match. So
John Smith's still picking him though. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Maybe BJ mentioned in the comments. I'm scrolling with him. Brock Lesnar he didn't qualify for Money in the Bank when he won it. He took out Sammy and won that. And I was actually at that Money in the Bank. You can see Madman Fulton taking out like Trey or somebody and just inserting himself. But I think maybe he would help Austin win, and then like, oops, oh my God, I accidentally won. Well, he also falls into his lap like Otis did. He also has a match with Josh Alexander Thursday, so if he beats Alexander, he has to go in. Okay, right? 7 guys in an Ultimate X. I don't think they usually cap it at 6. That'd be interesting. Or maybe Josh Alexander gets taken out. Yeah. Well, then Ace Austin would never need to lead a ladder. He just got to climb on Madman's shoulders. He could probably do something from there. That's. And then the other Impact story that we have is that Don Callis has been fired. I think we reported on this show days ago, maybe even weeks ago, that Don Callis was no longer in a VP role at Impact, but the storyline took him out by firing him on Thursday's episode at Impact. They had to bring in an Anthem, that's the parent company, a director, somebody from the Anthem board of directors to do this job. And that person ended up being Tommy Dreamer. So yeah, and it makes sense because Dreamer's been against this whole forbidden door since it started. So he knows he's been a part of these invasions, and he knows he hates it. And whether it's real, his character hates it. Character Tommy G. He's made it known at the very beginning to Scott was like, you better know what you're doing because this is going to backfire. And I guess he's doing what he had to make sure that it doesn't backfire. And then you get rid of Don Callis. That's step one.
Out, Scott D'Amore is like, Tommy, what'd you do? You went around me? You know who the Anthem executive is? And Tommy's like, no, I didn't go around you. I went above you. So Tommy Dreamer is your Anthem executive who fired Don Callis. Al, anything else in the world of wrestling news that we didn't cover down on today's show?
No, I think we got it all right. I can't imagine. We got Becky Lynch. We talked, small about Hell in a Cell, but I think we covered all the matches. Kensuke Nakamura, Roman Reigns. Yeah, Impact we got. Yeah, it seems. I know he said nothing big's going to happen. No, Eva Marie will be back on Raw tonight. Make sure you and Travis, I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about with her tomorrow morning. We might not even get to your New Japan stuff or your Ring of Honor stuff with him. It's going to be all Eva Marie again. So.
Right. Welcome back, Eva Marie.
There you go. Money in the Bank winner. We're calling it now. I called that in like January, by the way.
Oh, God. You will be intolerable.
Yes.
For Al, I'm Ryan. We will see you tomorrow.